now we talk a little bit about how to make a substantive breakthrough of creativity in substantive dilemmas. Yeah, one China, independent Taiwan, and how do you go beyond that? It was a theme of that XY axis and the orange exercise. Did you get that? Okay, so it's that image of creativity. Now, of course, no matter how good your ideas are for a substantive creativity, you also need some wisdom as to how to get there. And that is a process suggestion. And there are a couple of ideas that have really emerged from many years of conflict resolution practice. And there's also a huge amount of ocean of research. Some of it is quite scientifically tested. And I want to share only a few, okay? This is a quick and easy way adapted for Strait Talk so that I don't have to talk forever before we get into a group brainstorming to answer those dilemma questions we formulate. One idea I want to share is this whole idea of a pyramid model of peace building. And there is a brilliant gentleman that I respect deeply. His name is Jean-Paul Ledelac. He comes up with a notion that society usually is like a pyramid. Meaning that is, if you can see that, top leadership level, middle level, and the grassroots level. Notice that we are talking about leadership, not grassroots street vendors. Okay, in Shanghai and Kaohsiung, we are talking about leaders. So, can you tell me grassroots leaders who have some level of connection to cross-strait relations on both sides of the Taiwan Strait, and for that matter in the US as well?
You mean the name one, son?
Yeah.
Us?
Give me,
Grassroots?
yes. I think you may belong to, if you're, for example, organizing some student clubs, student movements, as in Strait Talk, I think you may be seen as grassroots leaders. Your influence may not be encompassing 1 billion people, but that's all right. You're taking leadership. Yeah? What other examples of grassroots leadership can you think of? Come on, you guys are so quiet today. Say something. Dragon Ball. Anything is okay. There are 1 million examples. Pick anything. Teachers? Farmers union. Okay, so not ordinary farmers, maybe farmers union chiefs. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Top leadership is much easier to illustrate, yeah? Who sits in the top leadership on both sides of the Taiwan Strait? That's right. So governing authorities, the executive, the parliament, meaning legislative, yeah? And then you have the mid-level, people in between. What are the kinds of mid-level leadership are we talking about as being relevant to cross-strait relations? Who may not be president or secretary general of the party, but who exercise some serious influence.
Maybe heads of think tanks?
Yeah, heads of think tanks.
The president of Foxconn.
For president of, so the business entities and their leaders. You know, for over many years, the business leaders on both sides have been exchanging ideas. And importantly, some of them have access to top leadership. Yeah, for example, those middle-level leaders who happen to be businessman or woman, maybe cousin or cousin brothers of the president, or sisters of this person, or high school friends. Yeah, and church. University presidents.
About Olympic athletes or just athletes in general, like professional athletes, like do they count as middle or like top?
If they can command some kind of public confidence, yeah, just kind of going beyond the cross-strait relations. In Pakistan, there's a former cricket athlete who is now a prominent politician running for election. So athletes can count here. The idea is that if the top leaders, as in 2005, as in 1995 and 1996, if the top leaders across the Taiwan Strait cannot communicate, can we start reaching the middle level? Can we start reaching the grassroots level? In other words, formally, when we think of diplomacy, we always think of the connection between the top levels. Don't you think? And then the people like us are kind of watching at the top. It captures a lot of news attention, and people are shaking hands, not shaking hands, cutting off the ties. We are attentive to those top level interactions. But now in the age of globalization, especially with tourism, direct flights, art exhibition, art exchange, scholarly, educational exchange, business exchange, gradually these channels are also opening up. Nobody knows what those tourists from Taiwan or mainland China going to the other side actually talking to the other side when they sit down for coffee. Yeah? So these exchanges open up. So the question is this: can we intentionally and strategically build these levels of relationship? Intentionally. A question: where does Strait Talk fit in this context?
Grassroots.
Maybe we are around here. So the technical language we use is, this is a track 1 dialogue. Track 1, this is track 2, like a train track, yeah? This is track 3. So you are basically track 2.5. And I sometimes get involved in track 1.5. You know what that means? Track 1.5. 1 is here, 2 is here, track 1.5. Track 1.5 is that there are government people, like diplomats, who come as private citizens. They don't represent the government. They take off their ties, they come as individuals, we have tea. As human beings. So that's why we call it track 1.5. Okay? Now, an interesting idea that I want to share is this. The same pyramid. Okay. For strategic peace building, we sometimes think of a pyramid as a system and say that this is a middle level. So people like me, or not me, but more kind of established, influential scholar practitioners, okay, may position themselves as the center of the spider net. Imagine that there is a spider net here. Cast a spider net. Okay. How does a spider actually move? When things actually flying at the spider net, how does a spider move on this imagined spider net space? Spider. You know, you have seen the spider on a spider net. How does it move? That's right. The spider is very strategic. It can go like this, it can go like this, depending upon where the prey is coming. Yeah? So the spider has a very strategic spatial thinking here. To be more precise, those officials together to have a dialogue. Then you can go down, talk to grassroots communities, and go up and say, here's what they are saying. Yeah? The opposite can be true. Can you imagine a spider going sideways? In the United States, Republicans, Democrats. In Iraq, Sunnis and Shias. Arabs and Kurds. Yeah? Haqqanis, Taiwanese, and more of a mainlanders in Taiwan, if you want to put it that way. So in other words, these are like either racial, ideological, sometimes cultural differences. They are not translated into top and down usually, not always, but they can go horizontal. So the spider thinking is both vertical move and then horizontal move. And if you remember this, can you think of a spider net here? Yeah? So the consciousness of peace building is to go up and down within a society, but also bridge them. So much of the work I do is to find spiders on the other side. This is what I'm doing in Senkaku Daoyu. I belong to this spider net, but I look for other Chinese spiders. We bridge. Then within each society, we go up and down, right and left. That's how we think for strategic peace building. Bridging them for dialogue. Does it make sense? Any questions about what I said? Is it helpful? Okay. You start using this knowledge. Put the electronic devices down. We start using this knowledge when we start brainstorming answers to the dilemma questions. Another useful, similar way of thinking is something called multi-track diplomacy. And the idea is that it's not only the pyramid, also that there are actually tracks to peace building. One track is government, another one is maybe non-government, like NGOs, and third is business, fourth is private citizens, as in the case of Americans marching in, let's say, New York City against the US invasion of Iraq in 2003. Some of you may know. And then the fifth one may be research, training, and education. I tend to belong here. Depending upon the society you look at, you have lobbyist organizations, activist organizations, which may be slightly different from NGOs, which may be similar. And then you have religious organizations. And then you have funding institutions. And you have more channels. Which other channels are relevant in cross-strait relations that I didn't mention here? They are powerful ones.
Cultural? We do that one? We do that?
You can call them, artist track or culture track. Musicians, yeah, painters, authors, very powerful people. How about athletes? The other day Taiwan and Japan had this baseball match, yeah? It was very highly captured. And I was actually personally very moved by the reconciliation of the audience on both sides actually kind of supporting each other despite winning and losing. So those are also very powerful traps. And then we have communication, meaning the media. And this particular model captures communication here, but media can be one of the traps. So the point of this model is to suggest this. You know why I put them together here? What's the point of putting those two tracks together, two diagrams together? That's right. Yeah. I remember, I think you mentioned that in a previous discussion. So the same thing I'm capturing here.